Hi guys, it's Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Today I'm going to be making another card using some of the new Spellbinders Club kits. This one is the clear stamp and die of the month. It comes with all of these lovely stamps with the poinsettias and sentiments and of course all the dies to go with it. This time I'm actually not planning on using the dies, so my plan is to do a heat embossed card using these lovely images. So I'm starting off with everything in my Misti. I've got my stamps in place and I'm putting down some anti-static powder, and the reason for that is we don't want to have our embossing powder everywhere except for where we want it, right? We want it only to stick to the parts that have been stamped. This is also a new stamp, so I'm trying to kind of condition it a little bit so it'll take the ink better using some embossing ink, which works really great for that. It's going to do great for both purposes. I'm doing a gentle press down, and that looks pretty good, but I am going to go over it one more time just to be on the safe side. It does look pretty wet. And this time I'm going to just kind of leave it there while I get out my embossing powder, because I have a bad tendency for things to not want to stick exactly the way that I want to. This time I'm going to be using some gold embossing powder. This is metallic gold sparkle from Wow. Whenever you're using Wow embossing powders, the containers they come in are anti-static, so if you leave them in the container you should be good to go. Mine are old enough and probably been poured in and out enough that they probably are not quite as anti-static as I would like. So let's go ahead and see how this is. This looks pretty good. I'm going to take it out of there using my tweezers so I don't get any oils from my fingers on there. And just cover all of this with this pretty gold sparkle. Okay, so there is quite a bit of glitter in places that it doesn't need to be. So I'm going to be tapping somewhat firmly on the back. Let's take a look. That looks pretty good. So now I'm going to take my heat gun. Let me heat that up for a second. And I'm going to heat it from the bottom so that hopefully I won't blow off any of that glitter. And that is just lovely. But I think what I'm going to try, let's see how it's going to look. I think I have room enough on the other side for another swag. I think that's what I want to do. Kind of debating. So I'm going to flip this around, place it back in that corner. And then I'm putting down a piece of acetate so I don't get anything messing up my panel, just to look and see. Yeah, it looks like it's barely enough space. So I think I'm not going to do that, actually. That, I think, is another design for another day. Let me get this out of the way and put away my embossing powder. And now I'm just going to brush off some of that excess powder. So next I'm going to pop this up onto a panel that I've had in my stash of this isn't actually glitter. This looks like it is a foiled sheet that someone had given me at one point. So I'm going to use that as a matting layer. I think that's going to be really, really pretty. and just popping it up on some foam. Now, I don't know how well anything's going to stick to this, so I'm thinking the foam is probably my best bet instead of trying to add it on with a tape runner or a liquid adhesive. I have a feeling that this is probably going to hold it the best, but to be on the safe side, I'm going to also add some liquid adhesive to the back of my foam, give it that little bit extra, give it that little extra hold. Another reason to use foam is that when you're doing heat embossing, you sometimes wind up warping your paper a little bit, especially if you're using a thinner cardstock. And I think this is probably some of my 80-pound. Okay, so let's go ahead and add the glue on and then try centering it up. Okay, that looks about right. I'm going to say it's close enough, and then I'm going to just adhere this down with some liquid glue onto a red card base. I thought about going with some white, but since there's really no white, well, there's actually no white in the card, I didn't think that it would match as good, so that's why I'm going with the red. There we go, and that is a real pretty, nice and glittery, clean and simple card that would be totally so easy for you to mass produce for your Christmas cards this year. So that finishes up this card using the wonderful Christmas clear stamp of the month, clear stamp and die set, but clear stamp of the month for the month of October from Spellbinders. If you'd like to see some other projects where I'm using some Spellbinders products, be sure to check out this playlist. You guys have a wonderful day, and remember, if I can make it, you can too. Have a great day.